We're going to be talking to Nick Archer today. He's communications consultant for one of the leading suppliers of innovative construction solutions. He's going to be talking to us today about the pros and cons of interim management, which we hope will be useful for anyone considering their first interim role. Nick was previously in permanent contracts, and he's in his first interim role at the moment. And so I'm going to ask a few questions, which will hopefully draw out the material we need that will be useful. So, Nick, my first question is, what were you doing before? So what kind of roles were you doing before? Was it in communications as it is now?
Yeah, so I've really spent most of my recent career as a senior communications practitioner, working for different companies in completely different sectors, whether it's green energy in India or mining, literally all over the world. I finished with my permanent role about 18 months ago, and took some time out that was much required actually. I was more burnt out, I think, than I realized. And then whilst looking for a new permanent role, this interim opportunity arose, and it's been working out incredibly well.
What made you decide to take the plunge into interim?
In my previous role, Nikki, I'd been with the company for 7 years. And whilst looking for a new permanent position, headhunters had said to me, actually, it would be quite useful to be able to demonstrate the ability to go from one sector to another, and actually to prove that I really could roll up my sleeves and get my hands dirty. So when this new opportunity arose, I was really interested. It's working for a German company, something I hadn't done before, working very closely with private equity people that I also hadn't done before. And I love learning. I'm on a lifelong learning expedition, and it's been very fulfilling.
How did you find the transition?
So that's a really good question, and I wasn't sure how I was going to find it myself. People had told me actually an interim role is sort of in many ways is better than a permanent position, because people will think twice before calling you at the weekend or late at night. You definitely somehow have almost more respect for being a contractor rather than a permanent role. And also it was agreed that I would work 4 days a week. And actually, what's worked out incredibly well is the flexibility. So I'm very lucky with the company I'm working with. They don't mind whether I do the 4 days a week, Monday to Thursday, so Tuesday to Friday, the weekend, and also they're very relaxed about where I'm working from. So that additional flexibility has been fantastic, and we've taken the opportunity to travel pretty widely over the past few months because the role has enabled me to do that.
That sounds lovely. So is there something that you like the most, and is it the flexibility that you like the most, or the fact that you tend to get a bit more respect in the role?
Yeah, so I think reflecting back on it, I think if you are in a permanent in-house role, you, particularly after a number of years, you actually are part of the furniture. Whereas as an external consultant, people look to you for real objective advice. And when you give them that objective counsel, they tend to take more notice of it, I'm finding, in an interim role, perhaps paradoxically, than in a permanent one.
And is there something that you like the least about it? Is there something that perhaps is better in a permanent contract role?
Well, I've never been a huge fan of timesheets and doing the accounts and the invoicing and VAT returns. That's all something pretty new to me, and that is an administrative burden. But it's relatively minor compared to the actual role, which I'm enjoying hugely, and I know they're happy with me because we've asked them that question, and I look forward to supporting them over the coming weeks and months.
The last thing I want to ask you is if you have any specific advice for anybody considering their first interim role.
Yeah, I think the interview technique needs to be a little bit different. I think when you're interviewing for a permanent role, you're really trying to to identify why you're the right fit for them on a go forward basis. I think with an interim role, you still want to demonstrate that you're the right fit, but you also want to demonstrate that you're very flexible. You're as happy talking with the executive committee or the board about strategic issues as you are rolling up your sleeves and drafting an announcement or a Q&A. And I think those are important proof points to get across.
Yeah, and should you reflect that in your CV probably, do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a great point, Nikki. Yeah, I agree.
Thank you so much, and thank you for your time and the really good insights. Appreciate it.
Hey, pleasure. Talk to you soon. All right.
Bye.
Bye.